Chapter 6. The sick feeling in Nina's stomach had nothing to do with the rocking of the rowboat. She tried to breathe deeply, to focus on the lights of Ketterdam Harbor, disappearing behind them, and the steady splash of the oars in the water. Beside her, Kaz adjusted his mask and cloak, while Muzzin rowed with relentless and aggressive speed, driving them closer to Turngel, one of Kerch's tiny outlying islands, closer to Hellgate and Matthias. Fog lay low over the water, damp and curling. It carried the smell of tar and machinery from the shipyards of Impergium, and something else, the sweet stink of burning bodies from the Reaper's barge, where Ketterdam disposed of the dead who couldn't afford to be buried in the cemeteries outside the city. Disgusting, Nina thought, drawing her cloak tighter around her. Why anyone would want to live in the city, in a city like this, was beyond her. Muzzin hummed happily as he rowed. Nina knew him only in a passing, a bouncer and an enforcer, like the ill-fated Big Bolliger. She avoided the slat in the Crow Club as much as possible. Kaz had branded her a snob for it, but she didn't much care what Kaz Brecker had to say about her tastes. She glanced back at Muzzin's huge shoulders. She wondered if Kaz had brought him along to row, or because he expected trouble tonight. Of course it will be trouble. They are breaking into a prison. It wasn't going to be a party, so why are we dressed for one? She met Kaz and Muzzin at Fifth Harbor at midnight, and when she boarded the little rowboat, Kaz had handed her a blue silk cape and a matching veil, the trappings of the lost bride, one of the costumes pleasure seekers like to don when they sampled the excess of the barrel. He had on a big orange cape with a madman's mask perched atop his head. Muzzin wore the same. All they needed was a stage, and they could perform one of those dark, savage little scenes from the comedy brute that the Kerch seemed to find so hilarious. Now Kaz gave her a nudge. Lower your veil. He pulled down his own mask. The long nose and bulging eyes looked undoubtedly monstrous in the fog. She was about to give in and ask why the costumes were necessary when she realized that they weren't alone. Through the shifting mists, she caught sight of other boats moving through the water, carrying the shapes of other madmen and other brides, a Mr. Crimson and a Scarab Queen. What business did these people have at Hellgate? Kaz had refused to tell her the specifics of his plan, and when she'd insisted, he'd simply said, "Get in the boat." That was Kaz all over. He knew he didn't have to tell her anything, because the lure of Matthias's freedom had already overridden every bit of her good sense. She'd been trying to talk to Kaz into breaking Matthias out of jail for the better part of a year. Now he could offer Matthias more than freedom, but the price would be far higher than she had expected. Only a few lights were visible as they approached the rocky shoal of Tarangel. The rest was darkness and crashing waves. "Couldn't you just bribe the warden?" she muttered to Kaz. "I don't need him knowing he has something I want."